of the political issue, people are kind of not upset by them, but they're like, there's been a lot of discrimination, really. So I was wondering, like, if you had any stories about that, or stories from Mexico that about how people live in Mexico that people might not know about.
Yes, I was able to be a bilingual teacher here in from Macomb County, and I love teaching the kids that came from Mexico, migrants, because they were so happy to be here, and they were pleased to learn. The ones that I had, they were all in grade school, and I enjoyed teaching them, and the public schools love having them because they were able to head count them, get money from the government. But they didn't really care that much for them because they would put me in the hall or in a room where the heaters were. It was really sad. And that made me very angry that we didn't have our own room, you know. They put us anywhere they wanted to, but nevertheless, I made the best of it by loving these kids and teaching them. And when I would go to the meetings at Macomb for the bilingual program, I told them what I thought, and I was angry because I said, you know, they're not being treated well. And everything I told them, they eventually used my word to write letters to parents to say how wonderful, you know, I was with the kids and how I wanted the best for them. And they were such liars, I quit. Because I was for the kids. I wasn't for the school policy, or I wasn't for just to please this, you know, organization who just wanted a head count. After the head count, they really didn't care about these kids. And I worked so hard with them that here in Romeo, whenever they had a bad kid from them, they would give them to me because they knew that I could work with them. And I didn't know Italian, and I didn't know any Asian language, but I knew how to love these kids and how to help them. And they helped me to help them. But that was another story. And the reason why I could do all this, Carly, is because of Christ in me, you know, the wisdom and the knowledge and the help that he gives me. Anyway, my husband was upset because I quit because he thought they were being treated poorly. So he was very kind and wrote a real nice letter to the State Educational Board. That's how, you know, finished that portion of my bilingual teaching. Remember that, honey? You wrote a letter?
I think I did, but I don't remember what it was about.
Specifically, I wanted you to tell me how, like, some of the discrimination you faced as a Mexican when you were young.
When I was young, I would go into a store. I didn't tell you this before, did I?
Yeah, I think so.
So, do I tell you again?
Yeah, just tell me whatever you remember. It can be anything. I don't care.
Okay, I was discriminated by going into stores and having the owners or their workers watch me closely, and it was very intimidating because I knew they were watching to see if I would steal something, and I felt very uncomfortable, and I wouldn't dare steal anything because I was afraid to. I would be afraid to steal anything, you know, not knowing they would throw me in jail or something. That would be what I was taught as a child, never to steal. But anyway, that was one experience. Another one was people, you know, when they found out that I was Mexican, you know, they just thought that I was very different from them. And I always call them white people. And And I could pass myself, really, for a white person. I wasn't dark at all. But they would think of me as being poor and think of me as being dumb. And I wasn't. Wasn't at all. And so I always tried to do my best in school. And anything I did my best to prove to them that I was just as good as anybody else. So that really stayed with me.
Could you explain, like, I know Aunt Pam, when I talked to her, she explained, like, some of the differences between, like, the higher class and the lower class in Mexico. Like, could you explain maybe some things that you saw or just any experiences that you've had?
Yeah, one of the things that was shocking to my kids when we took them to Mexico was we would go to my aunt's house and they would have these young, poor girls that were 10, 11, and they were servants and they were cleaning and they would be so busy working, and my kids thought they should be playing with us. We should, go to town together and get some ice cream, but no, they couldn't. And they couldn't even, they had to, when they weren't cleaning or working in their apartment, they just would sit on a stool and just wait there until they got further instructions. And I thought, why, they're so young, But then you see a lot of the young children carrying babies and younger kids than them and working like that. And they just seem like they shouldn't even be watching little children. They should be playing jump rope or playing games. And here, no, they have to take care of the younger ones so that the mother can go to work and the father. And he thought that was really sad. There's no daycares and nothing like that we ever saw. But anyway, I saw a lot of children begging, and they don't want to. They say we don't want to encourage, kids to beg, but I would give them candy or give them combs or give them toys, things that they could use, toothbrush. I'd give them anything like that, but I always make sure I gave them something that would be fun for little kids, and because I wouldn't want their parents to take it away from them. I want them to enjoy it. But there was a lot of that poverty like that. It's really sad. And they would always be so willing to shine your shoes or jump top of your car almost and wash your windows with dirty old water and rags and really make it worse. Or else they would try to sell you something down the street. They do that in the tourist places and the beaches, but it's very annoying because if you're walking and you're busy, but once you're in town and you can barter with them, that's fun. But that's with the store owners. That's not with the poor kids and the poor people in the street that want the money for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll sing you a little song for money. And they did. This bus stopped us once. They stopped their cars, and we got out, and we thought, what's going on? Is the police there? And no, the little kids came in. They came out of the bus, and they were singing, and then they had the little box so you can give them some money for their singing. Horrible as it was sometimes, but but it was like you were being stopped, for something like that. It was interesting. We found that very interesting. And they don't blink an eye. That's something they do all the time. They're not afraid or timid or anything. They just know they have to do that to live. Get the money for food.
Mm-hmm.
And then you often wonder, do the parents take the money or the fathers and drink?
Yeah.
You wonder what happens to that money. You want to help them. Yeah. I know I had some relatives that were, they were well to do. You know, I had an aunt that was a teacher, and I had some others that had professions, who were dancers and that. And I got sick once, and boy, they had a police officer grab a nurse and bring her right to the place where I was staying. And she gave me a shot, and they took care of me. But they had money, and they could just use the police or something like that. You know, it isn't like it was an emergency. I was just sick, you know. And but I always remember, you know, that police car coming down with that nurse to wait on me. And I thought, wow, you can't do that in America. But over there, if you have money, you can pay your way out of circumstances like that. I thought that was interesting. Well, let me tell you how when we went with Grandpa, my dad, to Mexico once to this little old village. And that was how many years ago, honey? 20 years ago? And tell us what happened when you went to Grandpa.
His house in Morelia. We've gone to Mexico a number of times over the years. We usually only stay maybe a couple of weeks, and then when I retired and we went, it was maybe a month or so. So
Stayed with family
for a couple of times, and we stayed with the Mexican families.
My relation.
Grandma's relation, and actually there's more than I can even remember. But anyway, we went to. I remember the first time going down there, and I thought it was a rather, in some places, a rather harsh land. You know, just cactus and things like that. We had your, I don't know, I guess it'd be your great grandpa Huerta. That's Huerta. When we went to go to Morelia, we visited your grandma's dad's home there. We were traveling with Grandpa, and we went to this town. I forget which one it was. It was a big town, but it was up there a little bit. He grew up there a little bit. He grew up there, and he lived there for a while. And I looked at the town, and I said, hey, Dad, this town that you used to live in, I said, it's changed a lot over the years that you've been gone, and he'd been gone probably most of his life, probably 50, 60 years. And he came, and we were back there after 50 or 60 years, and he looked around, and said, no, nothing's changed. Everything's exactly the same. You can follow those. And I said, look at all the walls. And what are those? And he said, those are bullet holes in the wall. Back when they had the, it was in the 1800s, or it was, I don't know. But anyway, 1800s, yeah. They were having conflict between who was running the country at the time. I think it was, wait a minute. Maximilian, and another guy was, Maximilian was from France, and he was with his wife, and they were, France supposedly was in charge of everything in Mexico at that time, and also there was a governor, just name only, he was a governor there too, and I guess he was a real mean, bad person, but bad things that he didn't obey the laws, and he collected money from people, and so we're talking 50, 60 years ago at that time. Old. Everything is old in Mexico, except in the big cities where there's money. They will make nice, high, modern buildings there. So there's modern, and there's desperately poor people. We went to one little house. I don't even some little brick, handmade bricks that were on the walls, and then they had wooden poles over the top, and then they put something on there to give her, maybe it was tin or something to keep the rain off of her. And in that little house was just enough room for her to live, just a little, and a place to sit down and eat. And she cooked her food over a little bitty stove. I remember that. It was so tiny stove, but she had a plate or two, a metal plate, frying pan or something. It wasn't much, and she would cook everything in that, and that's where she lived. And I'm sure she's not the only one that was living like that.
Now, as I see my kids and my grandkids, I think God has blessed them all so much. And, no matter what we've been through, we never were through with such. As we stayed in Mexico, we were probably, don't know what it would be. All I know is that we stayed in Mexico, we were probably, don't know what it would be. All I know is that my mother knows that we were very, very poor. She had to work so hard washing clothes and being a maid to the rich people in Mexico to get food for us, So I just don't know what would happen if we stayed there. But most of these people are quite like my mother. She was such a talented woman. She came from nothing, never went to school, and she was the best seamstress, the best drama teacher, she was the best singer, she was the best cook. She could do anything. I thought, wow, really? I'm not even good at half of that stuff. Very talented woman, Dancer, singer, name it. She could do it. And very wise woman. My mother was. Yeah. Really admired her. And back then, we had to laugh because they had to work so hard here in America that my mother she had one of her children in the morning, and by evening she was out in the field picking tomatoes. That's just way of life, You just keep going. And yet she would tell us, after you have a baby, you don't do anything for a couple of weeks to take care of yourself. And here she's stubborn to herself and can't think anything of it. And people look like you did when you were a young woman. She lost the baby probably in Mexico. Went right to work. Isn't that something? I just believe that a person could do that. But you do anything to teach your children to, keep going on like that. If only their government would help them, that's what I think. Only they would be honest and help the people. They wouldn't want to leave their country. That's the truth. I know I've seen people leave America. When they come back, they get off the plane and kiss the ground back to America. Interesting. It's interesting that I've had this experience because most people don't have that kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're just born in America and you're happy and everything's fine. But you get people that come from other nationalities or different countries, and we've gone through a little bit more. To make us a little wiser and a little bit more grateful. Thankful.
Do you know how they made it over here, by the way? I always wondered, it was probably harder back then, because...
Yeah, well, my dad came alone, as a settler at first. He came alone, and when you come along, you begin to learn the ropes a little, what to do, what not to do in America and so forth. And then he went back to Mexico, and my mother wanted to come with him, and then they came back illegally, and they became citizens, way years down the road, but they really were hard workers to get over here, and really the thing about it, it's hard to tell people, but people that don't care about religion or all that. But in Mexico, they couldn't read the Bible. In Mexico, they had to be under subjection to the Catholic Church, and they wanted to know the truth, and they wanted to read the Bible, but they would be like excommunicated or something from their church if they did that. So that's why they came to America for freedom of religion, just like the Pilgrims. And once they were in America, they were able to read the Bible and have freedoms like that. And then the Lord took care of our life. And it was just wonderful how He guided in everything we did, and we were always favored with all the farmers. We were favored no matter where we went. And all my brothers and sisters, were good workers, and they all did so well here in America. But I can remember when my parents studied to be citizens, and they really were happy to become citizens, even though my mother couldn't speak as well as my dad, and he couldn't speak that well either, but they could read a little bit in English, but not too much. It was mostly Spanish that they spoke. But they always wanted us to keep our language, so we had to speak Spanish at home and learn English and speak English at school. But that way we could be bilingual, which was a smart thing. That really helped us in our lives to help others being bilingual. That was interesting.
Could you restate your opinion, like on the Trump wall?
Yeah, that's always interesting because I've seen the wall there in California, in Tijuana, and at first it wasn't so bad, but after the Mexicans realized that when their people come over, they get everything free, especially having children over here, they get all their hospitalization to have the children free. Then they give them welfare, and so they think it's great. So that's what they strive for, and they're going to get over here illegally because even when they try to come over legally with their own people, they rob them and they take them to very dangerous places, deserts and things, where a lot of them are killed and a lot of them don't make it. But once they get to America, really they are illegal, so they are breaking the law by coming illegally. And there's other ways, to come, but it's very expensive, and most of them cannot afford to hire a lawyer to get papers to come. So if we just leave the wall down, if we leave the wall down, I mean, we get who couldn't afford to have the whole country, all the nations come in to the wall. Let me see. In the 50s, Grandma told her that she told my husband that her mom and dad and a few members of her church used to conduct church services for the settled, which were Mexican men that came by themselves to work in the United States. I'm going away from the wall right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going way back where the settlers used to come. I don't know if you're familiar with that. but just the men came to work in the United States, and they would be here in the summer and fall, and they would work in the fields for the American farmers. And the farmers had permit from the government to have them here, so it was legally done. And then they returned back home to Mexico, and then afterwards they were returning again to America in the fall to do some more work. The men did not bring their families. They simply lived in shelters provided by the farmers, and some shelters were tents. They were simple box-like shelters with a window and door, a barn, bacon, chicken coop. It was pretty bad. And I know because I went to visit some of these places where these men lived, and we would go there to get them clothing and Bibles and to see how we could help them. But they would earn money and save it, and then they would go back to Mexico. But nowadays, the people that come, they mail their money back to Mexico, and they just stay here. They mail it back to the relatives. So they just would do that till they were done. And to my knowledge, there was no flood of workers crossing the border then without permits to work during the summer months. So that was a good program that they had then. But now they want to bring all their family, and so they do it little by little, and now they cross the border in large numbers, and some with their families, and usually these families, they're illegal, but they stay, and some work and some don't, and they were having quite a bit of problem getting their driver's license, but I guess California started giving them their license, so I don't know if they do that here in Michigan or not. I think there was a short period where they did let them take the license. So some are only thieves, some are vile individuals that are, they can be rapists, murderers, kidnappers, drunkards, but they don't who drive sometimes to make problems here in America because they are evil people too, and so you have to get to a point where you think, well, how can we keep some out and let others in? But I don't know. I think it is a blessing for the Mexicans who are here legally to have at least some protection from even the illegal Mexicans, because they're trying to work and have a life here and do things the right way, and it's hard. It's really hard for them. For one thing, language is a barrier, and then another thing is, like I said, they don't have a license. It's hard to move around without being able to drive. You have to almost have a license so you can be able to drive and work. But I don't know. I feel like I love the Mexican people, but I just know that even myself, I couldn't have my house full of my relations from Mexico. But like I said before, they don't even want to come because they're happy where they're at. They're working and they're doing well. So they have come to visit, but not to stay here. They don't want to stay here. So it's and it's not because they're rich or anything, but it's because they have trusted God to help them in their lives, and He does. And they have all that they need right there in Mexico, and they try to help other people to realize this. But they don't have to come over here because it's going to be hard on them. So they kind of warn them, right? Especially the border towns. They're very dangerous because it's almost like they're waiting either to rob the people that are coming over here to the United States, or they're waiting to rob the American people that cross over. And even when we went to Mexico about 20 years ago, we would be told by Mexican friends and family, don't go through this town or that town because it's dangerous. And Tijuana is really dangerous. I had a nephew that went over there to party, and he got in a little trouble, but they threw him in jail, and he couldn't get out of jail because he paid a lot of money, and he learned quickly, and he never went back to Tijuana. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. There's good people, but there's a lot of corruption going on, especially with drug dealers. And when you get drug people, they'll rob you. And my poor husband, I could pass for a Mexican over there. You know, and when I speak, they think, you know, oh yeah, you're from Mexico, but I'm not. But my poor husband, because he's such a big, white, tall man, they think, well, there's a good chance for a kidnapping, you know, or to rob them or something. So we finally stopped going to Mexico for that reason. But it can be very, very dangerous. And we don't, I know that people fly over there to these tourist cities like Cuernavaca and Acapulco and Cancun. But they fly right into that city, so they stay right there where they have more protection and safety. But you can't travel around like we were traveling, you know, Guadalajara to Morelia to Mexico City, because then it becomes dangerous. You got to go where most people go just for a vacation at a tourist place. That's the only way you can really be free to enjoy Mexico, because there's a lot of free things to see and do, but you're not safe. That's what I say. But when they come to America, you know, they have more freedom and safety and things like that. That's why they want to come, and that's too bad that their government doesn't take care of them. Oh, I wish they would, but they never have. They're very, people are very ego and greedy. You know, the rich and the poor, no middle class over there. Very poor country, and it's good for it. But it's really that the drugs and that is making it so dangerous over there, just like in South America, the same thing. They really accrue people to do their dirty work with drugs. Like I said, if they take out the law, they tunnels over there in San Diego, Tijuana, have tunnels down there to get the drugs through. It's almost, you can't even stop them, you know, but at least that law would be a reminder of some kind, wouldn't it? Do that. But I know a lot of good people that are here illegally, and they're wonderful workers, they're wonderful Christians, they're wonderful people, and they want to do what is right. They really do. And I know even this one pastor, he got lawyers and everything to get his papers, and what did the lawyers do? They took off and ran with his money. He never got the help. So I don't know if he's legal yet or not. No matter where you are, there's corruption. It's so bad. I would really be careful. I just don't think that my parents would have done it without the Lord. Because they were hardworking, God-fearing people.